It is 7 o'clock, guys. Let's get started. Somebody hit the record button, so that's good. Thank you, Jim, for remembering that. All right, I want to thank everyone for joining us in the meeting tonight. This is our second session of promoting our library. Our library, our SAR library, is one of the best kept secrets in the SAR. What we want to do is make it not so secret. We want everybody to know about our library. Tonight, we're going to have our librarian, Joe Hardesty. He will start off. Then we'll have our archivist, Rayanne, give us an update. And then we will have our librarian general, Fred Olive, talk. And then we will call for questions if you have any questions of anyone. So, Joe, you want to kick it off? Gonna have to unmute. There you go.
Just unmuted. Hello, everybody. I am your librarian at the SAR, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm going to try to share my screen here if I know what I'm doing. So everyone on your screen, if you guys would be so kind to just give me a thumbs up if you see the SAR homepage on your monitor. Excellent. Okay, thank you. It's important that when I demonstrate what I want to share with you, I want us all to be able to see the same thing and make sure we're all on the same page, literally. So again, my name is Joe Hardesty, and I am your library director. It's a privilege and it's an honor to be in that position. It is a beautiful library, and I am absolutely convinced that by the end of today's session, you're just going to be crowing about all the really cool things that we are doing in Louisville on your behalf, wherever you may be. At the SAR's homepage, you'll see that I'm hovering over the library tab, and then there's a drop-down menu that opens up. And one of the first things that I'd like to show you is at the very bottom, visiting the library. And here you'll see our address and our contact, our hours and contact information, parking options available. But notice here at the very bottom.
That was very tasty.
Who said that?
Tasty.
Hello? Is somebody talking? Because I'm hearing things. Okay, I'm going to click on the 360 virtual tour. And there we go. You'll see there's the Louisville Slugger Bat Museum right across the street from us. And you can literally take a tour, a virtual tour of our library. See, just by mouse clicking. That's what our lobby looks like when you enter it. If you've never been here before, that's what it'll look like. And you could just walk through the door and into our library, and that's what it looks like. And it is a beautiful library, as you see. This entire first floor, this wall right here on the first floor, going all the way to the end, is nothing but published family genealogies that we've purchased or that have been donated to us like good folks like you. The second floor that you see right up here and wrapping the entire perimeter of the library is what we call our state collections. And there you'll find books about various states where your patriot ancestors were located: Virginia, New Jersey, Connecticut, Maine, Arizona, Texas, Tennessee. You name the state, we've got it. We've got it represented. And a lot of folks will choose to go there. So I invite you to take the virtual tour and explore that more in depth. Let's see if I can close this out without. Okay. So again, you get to it by visiting the library at our homepage. Something else that I'd like to share with you is video tutorials. You'll see it at third from the bottom. And here are a number of 20 to 30-minute video tutorials that you could watch at any time you want and to share with your chapter buddies or share with anyone about basic genealogy methods and tips and tricks that you can learn and add to your research toolbox. So feel free to explore those and watch them as often as you want, and you can share those. And one of them, in fact, is the use and value of the SAR library catalog. And that's what we're going to be talking about now. So I'm going to click on the catalog of the SAR library and click on this gold bar to enter into our catalog. Now, basically, I like to suggest that whenever folks visit a library, whether it's in person at your local public library or your state historical society or state archive, the National Archive, our library, the DAR's library in Washington, D.C., regardless of the place, whether you visit in person or their online catalog, there's two ways that I would recommend that you consider approaching it. And everyone who's researching their family history is going to have a surname in mind, and that's one way to go. So let's do a sample search for Miller family. And that's all I'm going to type in. And you'll see right here we have 295 hits on the Miller family.
He must be the expert that's conducting it.
Okay.
So you'll find that there's the title of the book that's on our shelf, published in 1991. Actually, this book is a microfiche. Remember those good old days of microfiche? That's what this book is. This is the book. I don't know too many people that want to travel to Louisville to get their hands on this, but now you don't have to. And this is what separates our library from everyone else's. You see the word ebook there in the call number? That means that we have found the full text equivalent to that book and made it available to you. Here's another one, the Miller family of Jacob Miller, born in Germany. This is the call number to the book on microfilm, but it too is an ebook. So let's dig a little deeper. If you were researching that and wanted to learn more about that book, I would click on the title and direct you down to this area here where you learn more about the book. In this case, it's a Jacob Miller who was born in 1702 and immigrated here from Germany. If that was one that really appeals to you, look further down under electronic resources, and you'll see that we provided you a link to that ebook. And it's just a simple click and you're in. There it is. But wait, we provided more, not just the full text of the book, but we found the Wikitree link to that Jacob Miller, who the book is about. And any one of these men could have fought in the American Revolution, possibly, or one of his grandchildren. We've even provided a link to the Miller Family Y-DNA Project and other full-text Miller family genealogies that we may not have in our library. So this is the power of our catalog when doing a surname search. And you could throw in any surname: Scott family, Butler family, Baldwin family, your family, the Carter family, you name the family, throw it in there and see what comes out. Now, the second way that one might search a catalog is by place. And remember when I showed you the second floor of our library is our state collections, you can search for what's available where your brick wall ancestor was living at the time. Now, what I recommend when doing a search like that is to think of the county. Unless it's a large city like Philadelphia or Boston or Charleston, we'll have books on those large cities and towns. But small cities and small towns, we may have very few, if any. So in that case, you might want to broaden your geographic search parameters to include the county where that small town and where your ancestor lived. So for example, let's do a search for Chester County, and it helps us spell correctly. Chester County, South Carolina. No, I can't see my keyboard. Here we go. Let's see what we have in our collection on that county. And here we have 19 hits for that location. And here's a really good book, Tombstone Records of Chester County, South Carolina. That's the call number for the book. But notice it does not have ebook in the call number. That's okay. It's okay. Even when you don't see that, go ahead and click on the title if it interests you and scroll down to electronic resources. And here we've provided all kinds of valuable links regarding Chester County, South Carolina, that you could explore. Any one of these might provide good information regarding your brick wall ancestor. Here's Revolutionary Soldiers of Catholic Presbyterian Church of Chester County, South Carolina. Again, I clicked on the title and scrolled down to electronic resources. And any that might, again, prove helpful. So again, whether it's Chester County, South Carolina, Fairfax County, Virginia, Sussex County, New Jersey, you throw in the county and the state, and it's important that you spell that out and spell out the word county and the state. Don't use abbreviations because the computer won't know what you're thinking. So that's the power of our catalog, your catalog that you members support. We're making this catalog so much more robust. It's think of it as a catalog on steroids. And honestly, I've never seen another library catalog that provides that level of cross-referencing that would be of interest to you and your researchers. So there's also an advanced search option over here to the right. So you could type in, just play with it. Just type in a first name or a surname and the state. Miller family of Virginia, say. We're gonna play with it like that. Just play with these drop-down menus and just throw in terms and see what you get. No hits in that case. I didn't know that, but that's what happens. And be sure to explore these other sites here. I think Fred, I believe, is going to talk more about the Friends of the Library program, but I do want to mention several ways that you may choose to help support the library in other ways. And one is to visit our library book wish list that you'll see right there. These are a list of books that we don't have in our library right now, and I would love to have. And perhaps you might be interested in purchasing one of these books off of our wish list. And it's a simple matter. Select from our wish list, and that kicks you over to Amazon.com. And you'll need to have your credit card to purchase any one of these books. And when they're purchased, they get sent straight to the library here in Louisville, where we then add them into our collection. And some of these books, as you see, may not have much genealogical value, but they are designed to support the mission of the SAR in growing the museum, as well as assisting in our education outreach programs. So consider visiting our library book wish list. And lastly, you might very well have a bound family genealogy or local history where your ancestors lived that is on your bookshelf at home. And it might make a great addition to the library. Just simply go to our catalog and do a title search and see if we have it. If we don't, then consider sending it to us. And we really would appreciate that. So that really wraps up my portion of tonight's library promotion talk. I want to thank Jim Maples, the chair of the Library and Archive Committee, and I certainly want to give a big shout out to our librarian general, Fred Olive, who's been a terrific asset to me and our organization. So that's really all I'm going to say for right now. I'm going to stop this screen share and pass the baton on to Rayanne. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Rayanne, you want to come online now?
Sure, be happy to. Let me see if I can get my screen shared. Okay. All right. Can everybody see the screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, great. All right, so just wanted to give everybody a brief update on what's been going on in the archives and special collections section of the library since our last meeting, promotional meeting. We've been pretty busy. As I mentioned last time, we have been busy digitizing our institutional archives. So those are our collections of Congress records, trustees records, various President General Records, Secretary General Records, et cetera. And we've made a lot of progress on that, thanks to our digitization specialist, Sam Dunn, who spends several hours a week in our digitization lab scanning each of these documents. We've been doing this for about a year and a half now and have really made quite a bit of progress. So far, he has done over 70 archival boxes. We've done over 50,000 images. Each one of those was done individually, saved into TIFF files, and that equates to 298 gigabytes. And we are saving these to the hard drive in the digitization lab, as well as backing them up to share files so that we've got them on the cloud so that we have a backup. So we're using more than one method to save these. We also have a volunteer that started coming in this spring, I believe. It's a very nice young woman. Her mom volunteers for Joe in the library. And while she is doing that, Ty, that's her name, she volunteers a couple of days a month in the digitization lab. So that's been an addition over the past few months that's helped us make some progress as well. So, hopefully now that we've got some of the issues with the pandemic resolved and whatnot, perhaps we can, attract even a couple more volunteers in that way. So that is the progress that we have made so far on that. We've also, I know that Sam has digitized a few manuscripts for Joe in the library. And when he does that, Joe adds them to those catalog records that he just showed you. So there's a few of those that he's been doing that too. We've also digitized a few of the items in our special collections, some of the currency that we have, and then a couple of other items that I'm going to show you here in a second. One thing, another project besides the digitization that we took on this year was our Congress photo conservation. So if any of you have been to headquarters, you might have noticed we have outside the boardroom a collection, a very nice collection of panoramic photos from our early Congresses. These are mostly from the 1920s and the 1930s. And they're really awesome photographs. Everyone loves, I mean, almost everyone that passes through that hallway for the first time has to stop and look at these photos. It's really cool to see the different outfits that were worn during that time period, just to kind of see, recognize the different faces and that sort of thing. And so we did have a collection of these that were really unusable because of damage that had occurred to them over years' time. They were rolled up like you can see here, and they had been rolled up for so long that they weren't able to lay flat by themselves, even if you laid something heavy on them. We tried to flatten them out ourselves, but that just wasn't working out. So we decided to go to a conservator and have them professionally treated. Other things that the conservator was able to do was clean them, did some surface cleaning. There were some tears and she mended the tears. And this was done by Strange Stock Art Conservation in Covington, Kentucky, which is only, it's right outside of Cincinnati. So it's about an hour and 15 minutes away from us. So it was very lucky that we were able to find someone so close, because paper conservators are hard to find. So you can see we've got 8 of these here. We chose 3 of them to conserve because the other ones were duplicates. So we wanted to really concentrate our efforts on ones that weren't being seen otherwise. So I wanted to show you the results of those. We got them back this summer. Here's the first one. This is our 1931 Congress photo. I know it's hard to see all of the detail here, but this is one of those that was professionally flattened out, so it lays flat now. There were a couple of tears in there that were mended with Japanese tissue paper. And the great thing about getting a professional conservator to work on these types of things is professional conservators always do things that can be reversible. So if for some reason down the road you wanted, take it back to its state you could undo the mending that she did on that, and you can only see it from the back. So it's all very professionally done. She's certified by the American Institute of Conservators. So she did a really nice job. That's the 1931 Congress. Here is the 1936 Congress. And once again, you can see they've got a color guard. You know, there's some women in there as well, some spouses, I assume. That's always fun to look at, you know, the dress at the time period. And then the last one that we had done is the 1939 Congress. This one I think is my favorite just because of the building behind it and the way it was photographed. But so these are now 3 new photographs that really weren't able to be used before because they were rolled up, and now we have access to them. So just this week, I picked up copies of them. We use our digitization lab and we digitize them because now that we've got these wonderful originals conserved, I don't want to do any more damage to them. So we had copies made. I picked them up this week, and then we're in the process of getting them framed to match the others in the collection so that we can add these to the collection outside the boardroom. And then eventually I'd like to take the ones that are outside the boardroom now, digitize those as well with our digitization lab, and have copies to put up instead of displaying the originals, because we want to try and get in the practice of protecting our originals and putting copies on display when possible. So this is just another example of the digitization lab that's you know, helping preserve more than just institutional archives, but other types of materials as well from the special collections. And then the last thing that we have recently acquired, I wanted to give you an update. I know that Fred wrote a nice little article for one of the recent magazines about the Congress medals. Teddy. Sorry, I have my a surprise guest here. So the last thing I wanted to show you is these 2 new Congress medals that we have acquired within the past year. The one on the left you can see is from 1908. And that is one that the Library Committee found and purchased. And then the one on the right is from the Chicago Congress in 1913. And it was gifted to us by the Virginia Society, and we just got it here at the most recent leadership. So it's only been in the collection a few weeks. So I wanted to let you all know that we've added a couple to the collection, and we've only got a few more left before we'll have the whole collection.
I got poopy on me. I got poop.
I think that is all that I've got for you. So be happy to answer any questions now that my kid has left the building.
Well, I was going to ask you where your kids were, Rayanne. Last
Well,
time they were in the background. What percentage are we complete on the digitization
Oh,
before
yes.
I forget it?
We are about 50%, I believe. So,
Okay. Okay.
so moving right along.
Okay, that's great, because those records were in the basement, and Bill Stone has told me in the past that this was all Rayanne's idea, that we had to get these records digitized. So Bill took it on as a project, and it's happening. So I think it is very important. I've been in that basement, I've seen the records, and that is the history of our organization, and it's so important that those are digitized. So thank you for that, Rayanne. And I just, you know how much I love these old delegate badges.
Me
they're
too.
just absolutely beautiful. I can't believe how gorgeous they were in the early days of the SAR.
I know. I wish we still did them like this. They're so pretty.
Yeah. Oh goodness, we couldn't afford these
I
things.
know.
All right, Fred, are you there?
I'm here, Jim.
All right, we can hear you.
Very good. It helps if you cannot see me. We would like to thank our staff. What they are doing is a wonderful service. Whether you're in Louisville or you are using our services at a distance, we are trying to provide more and more services at a distance, but we're thanking for the staff. Rayanne, Joe, also you heard Sam mention, Sam Dunn, our intern. But let me tell you a couple of things. One, when Sam came to us as an intern, this Library and Archive Committee funded his position. Also, the framing that's being done on the Congress photographs is being funded by this library committee. The work that was, the medals that were given by the Virginia Society was donated by one of our state societies, and other societies are doing the same thing. I would like to make sure you understand that everything that you're doing as a volunteer with the library or as a donation helps provide these services. Now, Jim, if you'll advance the slide once, please. The reason we're able to do this is we have a Friends of the Library. You've heard about the staff today and what they're doing. You have an opportunity to help support this by joining the Friends. There is an annual membership of $25. If you wish, you can use the QR code on the screen to make a contribution, or you can mail a check to the headquarters. If you desire to use the QR code, it goes into the SAR Foundation website. If you wish to make a one-time donation of $25, that's fine. If you're as forgetful as I am, and I always have to rely on Robin Christian as I walk in at fall leadership and she says, Fred, and I say, yes, ma'am, here's my check. If you wish on the through the system, you can do an ongoing contribution. That may be something you're wishing to do. Jim, if you'll proceed to the next slide, please. If you wish to support us at a higher level, we have recognitions which are part of what we call the Benjamin Franklin Subscriber Medals Program. For donations of $300, you receive the Benjamin Franklin Subscriber Medal, which is indicated on the screen on the left. If you make a $500 donation, then you receive the endowment bar to be added to your medal. For donations over $1,000 or more, you become a life member and will no longer have to pay the annual dues. Folks, I think it's very important to develop a giving attitude, and whether you can give at $25 a year or more, every donation is very important and makes a difference. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. And I do have some questions for the prior presenters whenever our chairman is ready for that. But thank you very much for your support.
Well, Fred, I tell you what, we'll open it up for questions and we'll let you ask the first question. How is that?
That sounds good. Rayanne answered almost every question I had, but Joe left out one piece of information that I think is extremely valuable. Joe, when you showed the catalog record of the Miller family, you showed that you were linking DNA projects. You may link to county records. You certainly link to full text books. Would you describe what you're doing to link the PRS entries into the catalog record, please? Joe?
Sure. Thank you. And I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. As soon as I finished, I knew there was something that I forgot to mention, and I apologize. So in the course of my work, I'm going literally book by book, shelf by shelf, microfiche by microfiche. And when I see that book title or that microfiche is relevant to someone who served in some capacity in the American Revolution, then I pop over to the PRS system from our homepage. And I give a really good, thorough look to see if I could find some reference to that patriot in our PRS system. Now, sometimes I don't find that person. So I'll pop over to the DAR's website and go to their GRS just to make sure I've covered all the bases. In some cases, I'll find it there. Let's see if I could, I'm gonna kind of take a moment and share the screen. I think I could pull up a practical example for you.
Sure, go ahead, Joe.
Okay. So I did this one just today, in fact. So I'm doing a search for books on painter families, and here's an autobiography of Thomas Painter relating to his experience during the War of the Revolution. Sounds good to me. So based just on that fact that he was a diary writer during the Revolution, I did a search in our PRS system, and I found a link right here. Click here for online records, online lineage or patriot records for Thomas Painter. And this was an example where I could not find that gentleman. This Thomas Painter from 1760, he died in 1847. He wasn't found in our PRS, but I found him in the DAR's GRS. As well as the book itself and his Wikitree entry and his Find a Grave link. So all of this will support that. So I do a search whenever I find a title that leads me to think there would be some reference to him in the Revolutionary War, then I'll search our PRS system for some link. Did that answer your question, Fred?
Yes, Joe. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. You're doing these one at a time, one book at a time. What percentage are you complete on the entire catalog, do you think?
Well, that's another good question. Another good question. Can everyone see the catalog screen again? Thumbs up if you do.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to put E-book. So to date, you'll see that we have over 10,500 items in our collection that's been hyperlinked 3 ways to Sunday. That's probably about maybe a third of our library collection, I would think. And it's a long process. I've been at this now for over 2 years, and I'm still chugging away 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. So I've got a long way to go.
But it's a great resource. I mean,
oh, absolutely. When I gave this talk a couple of months ago to a SAR chapter, I can't even remember where it was. One of the members said, "My God, Joe, this catalog should be the first place a researcher should go to research your family history." I have to say, I agree. There's nothing that compares to it.
and this was all your idea, right, Joe?
No. Well, maybe it was.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I thought about this for a while. I mean, it's like starting the first week of my employment, that this is something that would really separate us from the rest of the pack.
It definitely does. It's outstanding. All right, let's open it up for questions. Raise your hand or unmute or whatever you want to do. Okay, Gary, I see you have your thumb raised.
Yeah, can you hear me? I haven't tested my mic out yet.
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, great. Yeah, great job, Joe. I am just blown away with the amount of information that's available there. You know, I really can't wait to to start digging in, and already I've seen some things that may provide some help on a brick wall. It looks like you've completely covered this. The one question I have though is the library's collection part of WorldCat?
That's a good question, and the answer is no. We're not connected to WorldCat. For one reason, it's incredibly expensive. The annual fee to connect to the WorldCat is just ungodly. And secondly, I have contacted a number of other special libraries similar to ours that are in the region. And I asked two questions. One is, are you a member of WorldCat? And this one that's closest in collection styles said, yeah, we're a part of WorldCat. The second question is, does it bring in any more traffic to your collection? No, it doesn't. It doesn't bring in any more traffic. It costs out the nose, but it doesn't put them on the map anymore. More people have been discovering the SAR library because of our ranking on TripAdvisor. And many of you have seen the TripAdvisor logo or have been on TripAdvisor. A number of people have found us because of that. And we're ranked like 29th or 30th out of 130 things to do in Louisville. It ranks way up there. So we're getting more publicity, so to speak, through Find TripAdvisor. But no, we're not a connection to WorldCat. And we just, at this point, I don't see a whole lot of value in it personally, professionally.
Well, thank you for filling me in. And again, my hat's off to you and the entire staff there. You guys are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Any other questions? I know there's some more questions out there.
Don't be shy.
All right, Keith, I see your hand up.
I'll just follow up on Gary's question. In terms of finding books that you didn't know that were in the collection. So if I do a Google search for a particular book that I know exists, I might find it on Google Books. And then the question is, where do I get my hands on a copy or a digital copy? Is there a way to link the SAR library catalog so that if I find the book on Google, it might say, you can get a copy at the SAR library or check their catalog?
You're asking me that question, Keith? Honestly, friend, I don't have a sure answer for that right now. It's a good question, but I'd want to kick that around with Fred and see what he might have to say on that. But right now, my main concern is just putting as much of our collection available to our members as I can make it. Now in the process of looking for a book title that's online, I may come across one that I see, and I can create a catalog record and link on our catalog and it may only exist in ebook format only. So if there's any titles that are in full text that you think would be a good addition to our collection that's not already in our collection, then I invite you to send me an email with that link attached. That might be the best answer there.
Joe, may I make a comment?
Sure.
I do not believe that our catalog is set up to be searchable via Google at this point in time. I think it should be the go-to place for all of our members. And notice Joe did not log into any system of SAR. So anyone that would go to our catalog has access to the full text as it is. But I think growing the collection the way Joe and the staff is doing to make it available and really enhancing our catalog records should make it the go-to place for our members and people that discover us. OCLC, the cost is very, very prohibitive. And I think enhancing our collection will have its own draw. Thanks, Joe.
Okay, who else?
So I have a question for all of you listeners here, all you good SAR members. How many of you plan on taking the SAR library catalog for a good test drive after we log off tonight? Let me see. Good. That's what I want to see. Yeah, good. Yeah, take it for a good test drive and have fun with it. That's the best way to learn a new tool, is to play with it and see what it will do for you.
Howard, I see your hand up.
Yeah, if we happen to have access to a book that is like an exceedingly rare book, but we were able to get the library had scanned it and we were able to purchase a thumb drive, is that something that you would also have an interest in, sending you a copy of that thumb drive? If it's family history or military history, something like that.
Are you saying if you have found a book that was digitized already?
It was digitized, but it's not available to the public. Although you can go to the library and they will make you a thumb drive of that book. And they have 3 or 4 books like that because our SAR chapter has made those books available. And so, but they're not really available to the public. So our people couldn't actually get access, but we can take a thumb drive in and they'll give us a thumb drive. I mean, they'll record it on a thumb drive for us. Would it be beneficial for us to send those to you?
Well, before you were to do that, my question is, why is that other library not making it available to the public online?
Time, it's just getting it done. They're going to do it eventually, but it's just, you know.
Are these books in the public domain?
Yes, they are. And the one of them was a private author, and we went to and we got a release to make that available to the public. She did well, I'm not sure if you call it a private publishing, just a limited number of books for families, family histories. And so we went to the library said, well, we can't do anything with this, can't make it available to the public unless you get a release. So we got a letter, from the family to release it.
And
I just didn't know if odd things like that would work versus actually getting the book.
Well, books that are generally published prior to 1923, there's no copyright protection anymore. So
Right.
it's all fair game. Now, if an author provides you with the digital rights to it, then I guess I'd want to make sure that those rights can be transferred to the SAR library. And if they are transferable, then I'd be happy to accept the digital version of it and link it to our catalog. But first, I would invite you to go to our catalog first and see if we don't already have it. There's been times that people have donated box of books, and we already have copies of them. So check to see if we already have it. If not, then yeah, send it to me in either on a flash drive or maybe a Google Drive link or something of that nature.
Okay, do I see any more hands up? One thing I wanted to say is, if you notice my background tonight, it's an interior shot of the library, and Joe took this picture. I got in touch with him. I wanted to update the brochure a couple months ago, and said, Joe, I gotta have some better pictures. So he went outside and took a wonderful outside shot and took this wonderful inside shot. So both of those are now in our brochure, and I thought I'm going to use that for a background, and I really like my background, Joe.
I thought maybe you were stuck in the library tonight.
Oh, Fred, did you have anything else?
Nothing else, Jim, but I thank everyone for attending tonight. And the bottom line, please spread the news about the catalog and other things that SAR Library is doing to your friends.
And I certainly agree with that. Like I said, this is one of the best kept secrets in the SAR, and we want to let the cat out of the bag. We want to let people know about this secret.
Yeah, you are definitely getting your money's worth, gentlemen.
All right. Rayanne, did you have anything else? Okay.
No, thanks.
All right. Thanks for updating us on the digitization. And if there are no more questions, we've consumed the biggest part of an hour.
Yeah.
One last call for questions. All right. I guess that's it. I thank everyone for attending tonight. And that's it from here.